Hashtag when you save serious money. Tell N01. Have you ever noticed something strange? The moment people think you're doing well financially, the way they treat you changes. Not always in obvious ways. Sometimes it's subtle. A comment here, a joke there, an expectation that suddenly appears out of nowhere. And before long, you find yourself explaining your decisions, defending your choices, or feeling guilty for money you worked incredibly hard to save. What's interesting is that most people spend years trying to earn more money. Very few spend time thinking about what happens after they finally do. Because saving serious money creates a problem nobody talks about. Not a financial problem, a social one. And if you're not careful, it can quietly undo years of progress. Let's talk about why. Because this isn't really about money. It's about human psychology. It's about relationships. And it's about understanding something that wealthy people figured out a long time ago. Sometimes the smartest financial move is simply keeping your mouth shut. Imagine this. You're in your early 30s. You've spent years working. You've skipped vacations. You've avoided lifestyle inflation. You've driven the same car longer than your friends thought was reasonable. You packed lunches. You invested consistently. You said no to things that looked fun in the moment because you were thinking about the future. And eventually, something incredible happens. You check your accounts one day, and for the first time in your life, the number staring back at you feels substantial. Not millionaire level. Not private jet money. Just enough that you finally feel a little safer. A little less fragile. A little less exposed to life's surprises. And naturally, you're excited. Why wouldn't you be? You want to share the good news. You want someone to celebrate with. Maybe you casually mention your savings. Maybe you reveal how much you've invested. Maybe someone asks, and you answer honestly. After all, what's the harm? The harm is that money is rarely just money. To most people, money is status. It's identity. It's security. It's comparison. And the second financial information enters a relationship, the emotional dynamics often change. Not because people are bad, because people are human. That's the part many of us misunderstand. We assume everyone sees money objectively, but almost nobody does. Money carries emotional weight. It reflects years of experiences, fears, successes, insecurities, and beliefs. Two people can hear the exact same savings number and have completely different reactions. One person feels inspired. Another feels threatened. One person thinks, good for you. Another quietly thinks, why am I so far behind? And often, they'll never tell you which reaction they're having. One of the biggest financial myths is that more money eliminates stress. Sometimes it does, but often it simply changes the type of stress you're dealing with. When you're struggling financially, the stress is obvious. Rent, bills, debt, unexpected emergencies. But when you've accumulated meaningful savings, a different kind of pressure can emerge. The pressure of visibility. People begin making assumptions. They assume you can afford things. They assume you should contribute more. They assume you're somehow immune to financial concerns. And perhaps most surprisingly, they assume your money is available. Not literally, emotionally. The existence of your savings starts influencing how others think. Family members may become more comfortable asking for help. Friends may expect generosity. Coworkers may view your success differently. And suddenly, the money that once represented freedom begins attracting obligations. Again, not because anyone is evil, because humans naturally respond to information, and financial information is powerful. There's a psychological concept called social comparison. The basic idea is simple. Humans constantly evaluate themselves relative to other people. We compare careers, appearances, relationships, homes, achievements, and of course, money, even when we don't want to, even when we know it's unhealthy. It's automatic. The challenge is that comparison doesn't create satisfaction. It creates movement. If someone discovers you're earning more than they expected, they may feel worse about their own situation. If someone discovers you've saved more than they imagined, they may suddenly start evaluating themselves through that lens. Nothing changed financially. Only awareness changed. Yet emotions shift immediately. That's why discussions about money often become surprisingly uncomfortable. People aren't reacting to numbers. They're reacting to what the numbers mean to them. And meanings are personal. A savings account that feels modest to you might seem enormous to someone else. An investment portfolio you consider average might represent years of income to another person. Context changes everything. What's fascinating is that truly wealthy individuals often understand this better than anyone. Many people imagine wealth looks flashy: luxury cars, designer clothes, visible displays of success. And sometimes it does. But many financially secure people become quieter as their wealth grows. Not louder. They stop feeling the need to prove anything. They stop seeking validation through financial disclosure. They realize something important. Privacy has value. In fact, privacy may be one of the most underrated financial assets a person can possess. Because privacy protects decision-making. The fewer people who know your financial position, the fewer opinions you must manage. The fewer expectations you inherit. The fewer social pressures enter your life. You maintain the ability to make choices based on your goals instead of other people's assumptions. That's incredibly powerful. Think about lifestyle inflation for a moment. Most discussions frame it as a spending problem. You earn more. You spend more. Simple. But lifestyle inflation is often social before it's financial. Imagine your income doubles. Nobody knows. You can quietly increase investments, build emergency reserves, strengthen your future. Now imagine everyone knows. Suddenly there are expectations. You should upgrade your apartment, buy a newer car, take nicer vacations, order the expensive item, live in a way that matches what people think your finances should look like. And maintaining those expectations can become surprisingly expensive. Not because you want those things, because humans naturally seek social consistency. We dislike violating expectations. We don't enjoy disappointing people. We don't enjoy standing out. So gradually, spending begins serving perception rather than purpose. And that's where trouble starts. There's another reason keeping financial success private matters. It protects your sense of identity. For many people, financial progress becomes intertwined with self-worth. The more money they accumulate, the more they feel obligated to demonstrate success. But real security isn't about proving anything. It's about having options. The ability to leave a toxic job. The ability to handle emergencies. The ability to help loved ones without destroying your own stability. The ability to sleep better at night. Notice how none of those benefits require public recognition. Most of the best parts of financial success are invisible. Nobody sees your emergency fund. Nobody applauds your debt-free status. Nobody throws a party because your investments grew steadily for 10 years. The most meaningful financial victories often happen in silence. And maybe that's exactly why they're so valuable. Because they're yours. Not performance. Not image. Reality. I think this becomes especially important as people enter their 30s and 40s. At that stage, financial paths start diverging. Some people prioritize family. Others prioritize careers. Some face medical challenges. Others inherit advantages. Some make smart decisions early. Others spend years recovering from mistakes. Life becomes less uniform, and comparisons become less useful. Yet that's often when people become most curious about what everyone else has. Who's earning what? Who's saving what? Who's investing how much? Who's ahead? Who's behind? But the truth is, there is no universal scoreboard. Everyone is navigating different circumstances, different responsibilities, different starting points, different goals. The obsession with financial comparison usually creates more anxiety than clarity, and sharing your financial details often feeds that cycle, for yourself and for others. Now, this doesn't mean money should be completely taboo. That's an important distinction. There are absolutely situations where discussing finances is healthy and beneficial. Learning about investing, negotiating salaries, talking with trusted partners, seeking guidance from professionals, helping friends understand financial concepts. Those conversations matter. Financial literacy improves when people communicate openly. But there's a difference between discussing money and revealing your net worth. There's a difference between sharing knowledge and sharing personal financial details. One creates understanding. The other often creates comparison. And comparison is where things get complicated. The turning point for many financially successful people comes when they realize something simple. Not everyone needs access to every part of your life. That isn't secrecy. It's boundaries. We already understand this in other areas. You don't share every medical detail with strangers. You don't reveal every personal insecurity. You don't publish every argument you've ever had. Certain information remains private because privacy serves a purpose. Financial information is no different. You can be generous without broadcasting your account balance. You can be successful without announcing your portfolio. You can be confident without proving anything. In fact, confidence often looks exactly like that. The absence of a need to prove. One of the most peaceful financial shifts happens when your goal changes. At first, many people want money because they think money creates status. Then eventually they discover something deeper. Money creates space. Space to think. Space to breathe. Space to recover. Space to choose. And those benefits don't require an audience. Imagine having 6 months of expenses saved. Nobody knows. Imagine building investments for years. Nobody knows. Imagine quietly reaching financial milestones while living below your means. Nobody knows. Yet your life improves dramatically. Your stress decreases. Your flexibility increases. Your resilience grows. The rewards are real even if nobody claps. Especially if nobody claps. Because your motivation becomes internal rather than external. And internal motivation is far more sustainable. So what does this look like in practice? It means celebrating financial wins privately when necessary. It means being thoughtful about who receives sensitive information. It means recognizing that transparency and oversharing are not the same thing. It means understanding that some people will genuinely support your success, while others may struggle with it. And that's okay. You don't need to manage everyone's emotions. You don't need to shrink your progress. You don't need to exaggerate it either. You simply continue building the life you want. Quietly, consistently, patiently, the same way serious wealth is usually built in the first place. Not through dramatic moments. Through ordinary decisions repeated over and over again. Perhaps the biggest lesson is this. Financial security is not a trophy. It's a tool. A tool that helps you navigate an unpredictable world. A tool that provides options when life gets complicated. A tool that reduces vulnerability. And tools don't become more useful because more people know you have them. In many cases, they become less useful. Because attention creates pressure. Expectations create pressure. Comparison creates pressure. And pressure has a way of influencing decisions. Sometimes without us even realizing it. So if you find yourself making real financial progress right now, if your savings are growing, if your investments are compounding, if you're finally building the stability you've worked so hard for, take a moment and appreciate that. You don't need validation. You don't need applause. You don't need social proof. The number in your account isn't a reflection of your worth as a human being, and it doesn't need to become part of your identity. Let it be what it is. A resource, a safety net, a source of flexibility, a quiet foundation beneath your life. Because some of the most valuable things we ever build aren't visible. Trust, character, discipline, peace of mind, and often, serious savings belongs on that list too. Not because it makes you better than anyone else, but because it gives you a little more breathing room in a world that often feels uncertain. And maybe that's the real goal after all. Not impressing people, not winning comparisons, not proving anything, just creating enough stability that money occupies less space in your mind. Enough security that you can focus on things that matter more. The people you love, the work you care about, the experiences you remember, the life you're actually trying to live. And if you reach that point someday, if you quietly build something meaningful, if your savings grow beyond what you once thought was possible, there's a good chance the smartest thing you'll do next is surprisingly simple. Smile. Be grateful. Keep going. And tell no one. If you're quietly building the financial freedom most people only talk about, like this video, and subscribe to Weston Wealth, it genuinely helps this video to reach more people. Because sometimes the smartest money moves are the ones nobody sees. I will see you in my next video.